Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ballewga Build, and welcome to another in-depth Ekko guide. In this guide, we'll cover runes, items, different clear paths, and some general tips, and then finally, an assassin gameplay. There will be timestamps in the description below if you'd like to skip to a part you need. In this video, I'll be doing an assassin gameplay. If you guys would like to see a bruiser commentary follow-up, let me know, and I can certainly make that happen. Also, take note, I won't be covering Ekko's skills as in-depth as I have in the past. If you've never played Ekko, you can check on my old Ekko guides, or you can watch the Champion Spotlight by Riot. Now, runes. Ekko has two mandatory runes in Alacrity and Ravenous Hunter. Therefore, you're always going to want to run Domination and Precision as your rune pages. If you want to build Bruiser, you're going to have Conquer as your keystone, and with Assassin, you'd want Electrocute. First for Bruiser, Conqueror's true damage and healing gives you a great mix of tankiness with a boost in your damage. Bruiser Ekko in general doesn't build as much AP, so you're looking for damage wherever you can get it. Fleet sucks. It helps you a bit on your first clear, but after that, you're not going to need its healing, and it does no damage. Press the attack technically would grant more bonus damage than Conqueror does, however, that bonus damage isn't enough to forego on Conqueror's healing. And you never want to go lethal tempo. Triumph is a great rune on all junglers, Ekko included, and while Presence of Mind is an honorable mention, especially with the recent ult cooldown buffs, you really don't need it, and you never want to go overheal. Alacrity is super important. As mentioned, it's probably one of Ekko's mandatory runes. The increased attack speed works to increase your jungle clears early, and therefore your overall presence on the map. In extreme situations, you could consider tenacity, but when I face those extreme situations, I usually still go Alacrity. Don't go Bloodline. Coup is probably the best one here. I could see a valid argument for Last Stand, so if you want to try that, that's fine. But you never want to go cut down while you're building tank items. You'll usually have more HP than your targets. In Domination, again, Ravenous is the most important rune. Spell Vamp has always been a key factor in Ekko's jungle clear. And with the new runes, Ravenous is how you get Spell Vamp. We go cheap shot on the Bruiser build because it grants early game pressure, which is the most important part of League these days. However, on Assassin, I do actually run Sudden Impact. Since you can only choose two with a secondary tree, we forego on the Vision runes because they're all more of a mid-game power spike, and again, we're trying to focus on early game strength. The Bruiser build is Arc Seconds build, and he is considerably higher ranked than I am, so maybe it is the better build. However, I still prefer the Assassin build myself. On Assassin, we go Electrocute. Dark Harvest is an honorable mention, but I prefer the early game strength of Electrocute. If you find all your games are dragging out anyways, you might find more success with Dark Harvest. Predator is not worth it on the Assassin build. It is okay on the Bruiser build. It kind of helps you engage, but it definitely doesn't outshine Conqueror, so you're probably never going to go Predator. Don't go Hail of Blades. We'll touch more on this in the gameplay, but you shouldn't be proccing your passive with only auto attacks that much, so you really wouldn't make that much usage of Hail of Blades. And in actuality, Electrocute synergizes better with your passive than Hail of Blades does anyways. As aforementioned, I do go Sudden Impact on the Assassin build. The value is increased due to the higher AP values you'll have compared with the Bruiser build. I usually go Eyeball Collection because it has the potential to stack the fastest. Just think about if there's an early game fight or there's just a lot of ganks happening before level 6. You're going to get those 10 eyeballs way faster than waiting on wards to expire or looking and hunting down enemy wards. And again, we already talked about Ravenous Hunter is mandatory on Ekko Jungle. On Assassin, I used to go secondary sorcery with Transcendence or Absolute Focus, and then Gathering Storm or Water Walking. However, all of these, except for Water Walking, are kind of mid to late game power spikes, and especially as a jungler, you really have to be relevant and able to affect the map early or you're going to lose. Precision secondary just gives you that little extra boost in that early game power you really need. And as Ekko, as long as you stay relevant, you will be a late game powerhouse no matter what. With Precision as a secondary, we go Triumph and Alacrity. Again, Alacrity is mandatory, and I don't think Q's damage outweighs the gold and healing that Triumph grants you. For bonus stats on both builds, we're going to go Attack Speed, Adaptive Force, and Armor. The Attack Speed helps you clear the jungle faster, the Adaptive Force because it's better than Defensive, and then Armor to keep you healthy during your jungle clear. Items. There are 2 core builds. Both builds include Runic Echoes and a Dark Seal. However, you don't have to go Dark Seal if you're first on Ekko. And in both builds, if you're comfortable on Ekko and you're doing well early, it is worth it to go ahead and upgrade to Mage Eyes. Bruiser goes Red Smite, Runic Echoes, Defensive Boots, Gauntlets, Spirit Visage, Liandry's, and then your choice. Your choice would of course be the Mage Eyes in a good game, and also there is flexibility around the Liandry's. Other good items include Thornmail, Abyssal Mask, and even Wit's End. However, these are all circumstantially good, while Liandry's always fits this playstyle. If you aren't going Mage Eyes, usually you would include one of these other 3. Red Smite, Liandry's, and even Thornmail are all sources of this extra damage that Bruiser Ekko can pick up and he desperately needs, and therefore we always go Red Smite on the Bruiser build. Now Assassin goes Blue Smite, Runic Echoes, Boots of Lucidity, Lichbane, and then you're flexible. Good choices are Mage Eyes and or Deathcap if you're doing well, Morellonomicon and or Liandry's if it's an even game, and Zonias or Banshees when they're appropriate. Think about Eve or Zed on the enemy team. Void Staff is a good item in itself. However, with League's current meta, you don't see that many tanks or that much magic resist stacking, so I usually don't go it. And the item slot does feel kind of wasted when compared to the utility of the choices I already mentioned. We almost always go Boots of Lucidity because Ekko in general strives for 40% CDR, and on the Assassin build, it's not quite as easy as Bruiser, whereas your Runic Echoes plus your Gauntlets plus your Spirit Visage is going to give you outright 40% CDR. Sometimes Sorcerer Boots are fine, especially if your team drafts heavy AP. Blue Smite is better on Assassin, not only because in general it's easier to use than Red Smite, but Blue Smite also counts towards your Electrocute total. However, if the enemy is an on-hit champion, then you might want to go Red Smite. Think about Master Yi, Zen, or Kindred. I usually do go Red Smite to match those champs. One item I feel I need to touch on is Proto Belt. On the surface, Proto Belt seems to synergize well with Ekko, and I know a lot of people buy this item on him. It has AP, health, even 10% CDR, when I just mentioned it's kind of hard to get 40% CDR on this Assassin build, right? Personally, I think Proto Belt kind of sucks. Realistically, you're going to have to choose whether you want your third item to be Lichbane or Proto Belt. And you wouldn't usually build both because by the time you're getting 4th items, you should be getting, a more powerful item like Deathcap or even Zonias. Although in one instance of the item, Proto Belt does do more damage, Proto Belt has a 40-second cooldown, whereas Lichbane's Spellblade cooldown only has 1.5 seconds. Lichbane overall is going to have a much greater impact over the course of team fights, and it outright grants 20 more ability power than Proto Belt. With this considered, I never go Proto Belt on Ekko Jungle, and if you've never played Ekko and you want to try Proto Belt, you can. However, I really wouldn't recommend getting used to this item while you're jungling him. I really don't think it's worth it. Now in lane, it's a little bit different because instead of buying a jungle item first, you'd probably get a Proto Belt first, and then you don't run into that problem of buying a bunch of weak items, whereas you need to be getting strong items like a Deathcap. You'll want to max R first, and then Q, E, and W, and depending on your clear, you will either start with Q or W, and then get the other, and finally get E at level 3. Your E is your gap closer, and because it's not realistic to get it until level 3, I usually don't gank until level 3. The 2 clears are entirely dependent on whether you're getting a leash or not. With a leash, W start is faster, but without it, you'd want to start Q because it's a much healthier clear, and you always got to worry about invades, especially when you don't have a leash. Without a leash, you need to start at red, start Q, and hit both the raptors and the red buff with your Q while you auto attack the red buff. The healing from Hunter's Talisman is going to keep you near full HP without ever using a health pot, and then from level 2 onwards, with both Q and W, clearing is a lot easier. I usually find myself finishing this jungle route with over 3/4 life while still having a health pot. However, that takes a little practice on where to position Ekko as you clear, so don't expect that from the get-go. With a leash, you start with W, and make sure you auto-attack the monster once before casting your W. You want to get hit once by the monster so that you can heal with Hunter's Talisman while the monster is stunned and you have your W shield. A long clear is possible in Ekko, but as we've mentioned, early game pressure is very important. And while I used to do a long clear in most of my games, if the enemy jungler gets a gank or two off while you're still clearing camps, you're starting the game behind, and it's just usually not worth it. I usually recall for the first time when I have around 1,000 gold and purchase my smite item plus Dark Seal. And then once you have the smite item, clearing is pretty easy, and then you can choose whenever you want to back. Now for some general tips before we get into the gameplay. Ekko can solo dragons once you purchase your full jungle item, and sometimes earlier if you have some Ravenous stacks. Always watch your ult position, and don't be scared to ult aggressively while you're ahead. It does enough damage to instantly win small skirmishes. Although Ekko can easily reach the backline, sometimes it's better to fight front to back with your team. This goes game by game, so if you find team fights aren't going well, you might want to try adjusting to the other style. Your Sheen purchase is a power spike. Before getting Sheen, try to only take fights where you have a clear advantage. Ekko isn't very good at being primary engage. You want to try to counter engage or at least let a tank on your team go first. Make sure you use your W and your Q while you're running away. Your W shield and stun can save you, and your Q not only slows, but if you hit 2 stacks of it, you can auto attack once for your movement speed passive and get away. And depending on if you play it well, you might even be able to turn around a bad situation. And finally, when learning Ekko, use your ult earlier rather than later. It's always going to be better to have to wait on your ult cooldown rather than waiting on a respawn timer. Now, let's go ahead and hop into the gameplay. Okay, so here we are in the gameplay. Whenever you're loading into a game, you want to take note of your team's champions and the enemy champions and kind of plan out your early routes. So as the champions get into position, I'm going to just go down top to bottom and explain what's going on. So we have a tank top Ornn. Whenever I see a tank top, I usually don't camp. I tried to say gank and camp at the same time. I usually don't camp top lanes because it's not really a tank meta. I kind of mentioned this earlier. You don't see that many tanks. Tanks don't tend to take over games. You're not really going to get carried by a tank. So because of that, I don't really camp their lanes. Now, if they die early, I will try to throw them a bone, give them a little pressure, stabilize their lane. But as far as camping multiple ganks, it usually doesn't happen for me. So top lane, we kind of strike that out. Mid lane, we have Aatrox versus a Diana. Aatrox has Ignite and Diana has TP. So this means not only does Aatrox kind of have kill pressure in the mid lane, meaning we'll win 2v2s and it'll be easy to kill Diana when I do gank. Also, I do not want this Diana with TP to do well enough to TP to other lanes and affect the map when I'm not there to stop her. Say I'm ganking top and then she counter TP's bot. That's a problem for me. So mid lane's high up on the priority list. And then bot lane has Kai'Sa and Leona. We have Blitzcrank. Our ADC doesn't matter because these two do not have escapes. If Blitzcrank hooks them, it's a pretty easy gank for me as well. So just knowing that, we know we're going to focus the mid to bottom side of the map. Also, one other note before we get into it, I am the only magic damage on our team. Now, the tanks do a little bit of magic damage, but it's pretty negligible. It's pretty much up to me to get enough magic damage to where the enemy team can't just stack armor and ignore our damage and win the game off of that. So, because of that, I need to make sure that I scale well as well. So, I already showed you guys this clip. This is just the no leash red buff start. I'm going to go ahead and speed it up because we already talked about it. The only thing that happens here that I didn't show you guys earlier is I accidentally reset this bird. You can see here, usually when you finish red, it will lose this last little segment of patient and then it'll start fighting you from down here. But for some reason it kept it and I actually didn't play around that. You can see me, it has no life, but as soon as I walk out of its range, it went from 13 to full and then I come back around and I finish it off. Now that's not going to cost me any health or anything, just a few seconds off of my clear time, but it's going to be okay. So on most games, you're going to do a buff, either birds or wolves, the other one that you didn't do, and then the other buff. So that's what we're doing here. We did red, birds, now we're doing wolves, and then we'll do blue after this. Make sure that you're hitting all 3 stacks of your passive on every camp as you clear it. That includes birds, that include the wolves. You saw they died when I hit two waves of Q and then an auto attack. And then now we're going down to the blue. Now at this point you can see that I have 2 stacks of my smite because I didn't need to use it to secure my red or anything. So whenever I'm in this situation, I usually do smite the blue pretty early. As you can see, I just did. This is going to get the blue low enough for my W passive to start taking effect, which is when something's under 30% health, you do bonus damage. Also, the smite just in general increases your health and makes it faster. And since there are no birds to kind of leech off of, you're going to take a lot of damage from blue. Therefore, you want to smite it to kind of help your clear. And while smiting it, as long as you have 2 stacks, you're still going to have another smite to use on the crab down here. You want to CC the crab so that it loses its bonus resistances. I am going to smite it when it's low enough to kill. I get it, and then I'm full life, level 3. I still have both health pots, and I've cleared my whole jungle. Now, bot lane just killed Kai'Sa, and they're under the enemy bot turret. We're not going to turret dive a Leona, even though she's only half life. I'm not going to turret dive a Leona at 3 minutes into the game. It's not going to work. Leona has way too many base stats for that. So we're going to look mid. The Diana's pushed up. It's also a good time to gank because she's pushed up. I come from behind. I know that Aatrox has set up CC for me, so I do not cast my W early. Aatrox misses his knockup, but then he hits his W, and then I throw my W to where she's going to be because of Aatrox's W, right? She will be in this W. So knowing that, the Diana flashes, and then she goes over the wall. Now at this point, I just chase her out of the lane so that Aatrox can get free CS. And then I saw Warwick here. I didn't actually see him, sorry, on the actual gameplay. Let's speed it up a little bit. And look, right here, I saw Warwick. Did you guys see Warwick for that 3 seconds on my minimap? I saw Warwick in game. That's why you're going to see me spam my rank 7 emote, because I know Warwick's in this bush. And now, taking note of the fact their mid lane does not have flash. Warwick does not have red. I also saw he didn't have red. I have red for like a few seconds. It's about to go away. But I know that I'm full life. I have 2 health pots. I know Warwick's here without a red. And I know that my mid has both his sums while their mid doesn't have ignite and doesn't have flash. So we have an advantage here. Now my Aatrox is farming, so I can't straight up start a fight immediately. But me and Aatrox have an advantage over Diana and Warwick. So because of that, you're going to see me kind of pester these guys. Throw my Q at them, annoy them as much as I can. Chase them around into bushes. Diana can't flash CC me. Warwick hasn't started channeling his E yet, so I'm safe to do this. I'm safe to annoy them as much as I can and wait for my team. I'm waiting for Aatrox to clear his minions and come back me up. And then Ornn actually sees what's coming down or what's happening. His lane's pushed, and I think he TP'd in order to push his lane. Either way, we're setting up an early kill here. Now Warwick goes back for the scuttle because you don't want to get double scuttled. He's really not to blame for this, but then as soon as he sees Ornn, he knows he's screwed because he can't walk through Ornn. Because Ornn has strong CC. He can't walk through me because I have slows in CC. And he can't walk through Aatrox because Aatrox also has CC. So his only hope of escape is kind of walking past me and running here. And because of that, I'm going to throw my W down here and stun him. So you're going to see I get in contact with him. I get 1 stack of my passive. I E. I throw down my W. The W would have hit Warwick, so he does have to use his flash. And then I was going to leave him. I throw my Q for some chip damage after he flashed. But then my Aatrox makes a awesome play. He dash, flashes, channels his W, and he knows Warwick has no flash, so now Warwick's dead. I go ahead and flash in just to make sure that we get the chip or just to make sure we get the damage on him. And he is going to Q through me, so I get the last hit. And then me and Aatrox get a kill. We get an early play on Warwick. Now, I get to double crab Warwick. At this point, Warwick is super behind. I mean, it doesn't seem like that much, but these are diamond games. So there's a little bit more pressure than your normal games. If you get double crabbed and you die early, you are almost out of the game, and I'm going to do really well. Now, the crab almost trolls me by living. I go to do my Krugs because that's kind of standard pathing. However, it turns out Warwick was actually doing my Krugs. That's why we saw him come down through here. He thought I started blue, and he invaded my red to try to cheese me, but luckily I started red. I avoided all that. We punished him for it, and it turns out my Krugs are gone. So when my Krugs are gone, I go top because the Tryndamere is AFK pushing. Now at this point, I think I have enough gold to get my items, right? What is it? I think it's X that shows gold. It is. Yeah, all right. So I have 12 in my pocket. I told you guys earlier in the guide that I usually back with 1,000. So if you wanted to back here instead of ganking top, that would have been fine as well. But I am going to try to throw my Ornn a bone because he helped me with the Warwick and he's died once. So I come top because the Tryndamere is AFK shoving. Once Tryndamere gets close, I come in. Do not cast your W first. You could, but Tryndamere has this E. So if I cast my W and he sees where it is, he can just E the other way. This is a position where you don't want to throw your E first. So I just start fighting Tryndamere. This is pretty much standard team fight, or I mean standard gank procedure. You fight them until they use a gap closer, and then you cast your W and your E. However, the Tryndamere crits me 3 auto attacks in a row, gets me down to 14 life. So it's time for me to bail. I did get some chip damage on the Tryndamere at least. So my Ornn's going to be in a little bit better position now. And also, I saw Diana walk up from mid. You guys might have seen her on the minimap earlier. I don't know where Warwick is the main concern right now. I have the blood scent mark. If you guys don't know how Warwick works, he can't actually see my champion, as in he can't see exactly what my health is, what my mana is, all that stuff. But on Warwick's screen, he'll see a red blot and a blood scent coming from me to him. So he knows where I am. That red blot shows exactly where you are. So because I know Warwick knows where I am, I'm going to try to run to a place where I don't think he can kill me and live, which is here. If he somehow did come out and kill me, he would probably die to one of my solos. They'd be able to clean him up. And then also I saw Diana was here and no longer chasing me, so I feel like I was safe enough to recall. Gonna go back to base. I had enough money to buy a smite item and a tome, so I skip on the dark seal this time just because I had a little bit more money for tome. I probably should have still bought the dark seal, but I mean, it'll be okay. So I go to clear. There's nothing to gank right now. Nobody's up on the map. I'm not going to go top probably again. I might go up there if Ornn has trouble, but it looks like he's doing fine after him and Aatrox killed. I think they killed Diana and Tryndamere here. So top should be fine. He's a tank. I'll just leave him alone. It's time to look at mid and bot. So right now, let me get it centered on Ekko. I'm just clearing. My Aatrox was in base, so I come to last hit the minions that are going to die to turret. You don't want to use your Q on all the minions. I don't want to push it and screw over my Aatrox. I just want to farm what the turret would get and that he can't get. And then it turns out Diana was doing my birds. I am going to smite the bird so that Diana doesn't get it. And then I go for my red. Now, I don't know if it's because I smited the bird and Diana said something in chat or what, but what happens is I start the red. And then look at Tryndamere. I was watching my minimap. Basically, after you guys get used to clearing on Ekko jungle, on any jungler, Ekko included, while you're killing jungle camps, you don't have to pay attention like you do when you're last hitting lanes, right? You're going to just auto-attack it until it dies. So because of that, you should be watching your minimap while you kill camps. That's what I was doing. I see Tryndamere leaving top lane, and then I start pinging. That's my missing enemy ping, and if I had chat on, you'll see I pinged Tryndamere alive as well. I'm missing, or Tryndamere's coming, and I know he's coming. But my Ornn was busy last hitting cannon. It's not really Ornn's fault here, but it is very frustrating as a jungler when this happens. So what I should have done is just leave the red alone and just bailed because I can't 1v1 a Tryndamere. I don't know if he has his sums or not. It turns out he does. I don't know if he has his ult or not. It turns out he does. But if you don't know, you have to assume he does. And a level 7 Tryndamere with his ult and both summoners is going to destroy a level 5 Ekko with no sums and of course no ult. So I should have just left. What I could have done is left as soon as I saw Tryndamere maybe leaving his lane, and then I might have been able to smite the buff like through here, which is what I was pathing to do, but I had done so much damage that Tryndamere is going to finish it off. I run into him in this bush. I don't want him to hit me. Again, I don't know what he has, but now I know he has a red buff, so if he auto attacks me once, he's going to start slowing me. He's probably going to kill me. He has to flash because my solo laners come to flank him, and then I think he gets away here, which is fine. It's annoying. I didn't get my red buff. I think I would have been near 6 off of that, especially after Krugs, but it's fine. So because of that, I go to do the Krugs anyways. Because I don't have enough. I don't think I have enough money to buy my jungle item yet. No, I definitely don't. It costs 1160. So there's no rush to back. So I can go ahead and do the Krugs, which I finish off here. And then I'm a red buff away from level 6. So I would be 6 if I got my red, but hey, shit happens. So I go back to base. I get the Fiendish Codex because I already had a tome. And then I can also afford the Dark Seal here. Luckily, I didn't get any kills in between not having the Dark Seal when I could have had it and getting it. So luckily, I didn't waste any potential stacks. Go down to my blue. I finish it off. I should hit 6 off of this. I do. And then as soon as you hit level 6, your game style should change a little bit. Now, you don't go crazy reckless, but as soon as I hit 6, that opens up the possibility to put wards in the enemy jungle. It opens up the possibility to turret dive if enemies are low. I can definitely take any 1v1 with their jungler and live it. Now, I might not beat the enemy jungler, but I can take any fight and get away scotch-free because of my ult. So because of that, I hit level 6. It's time to start looking for vision in their jungle. I use my trinkets. I walk into their jungle. I think Aatrox boards that bush. And then Warwick blood sense me. Now, I noticed this as soon as the game starts. As soon as the blood sense starts. Let's go ahead and speed it up a little bit. Warwick actually accidentally blood scented me. I thought he was going to come out of this bush and fight me, and I thought Diana was flanking me when it happened. But then you can see I have the blood scent, so then I'm looking at my minimap, and turns out Warwick's bot. He was trying to gank my bot lane, but since I was on the other end of this wall, his blood scent hit me, which is actually going to help out my bot lane a little bit. But since I know Warwick's going bot, it's time to try to counter gank. Lucian manages to dodge the Warwick ult, but he still gets feared by the Warwick E. Leona goes all in on him, and then Diana's, it's actually Ornn TPing in. So Lucian gets away low. Meanwhile, the Blitz dies to their bot lane. Luckily, Lucian lives. Ornn uses his ult to CC the Warwick. I'm not worried about Warwick at this point. He's probably going to die to these two. So I kill Leona, and then I'm looking at their ADC. Now, because I'm all on CD with my stun, I can't really turret dive the CD or the ADC, but I can trade with her a little bit. I have Ravenous Hunter. I have a few health pots I'm going to heal up. I throw my W, and I initiate the dive because I want her to either... So what happens when I throw the W right here, if she runs in, Ornn sees her. If she stays, she gets stunned by me, and if she runs where she was running, I knew I had Aatrox over the wall, she's going to get caught by Aatrox too. So because of that, I initiate this kind of full ham dive. I have my ult, of course, to reset the turret aggro, so I'm going to be fine. She runs into Aatrox. Aatrox and Lucian jump on her. They're going to finish her off. And now we have 4 in the bot lane, and it's before 14 minutes, so it's time to start focusing turret plates. So my team, we get the first turret here. Warwick comes in. He's going to focus Lucian again. I knew that because we just saw that team fight earlier where he ulted straight past Blitzcrank to try to hit Lucian and didn't hit the ult on Lucian, and then because of that he died. I know he's going to chase after this Lucian, so I cast my W in between Warwick and Lucian, hoping that he would be in it by the time my W lands. Lucian actually plays this pretty well. He dashes through my stun to make sure that Warwick gets stunned, and then when Warwick's stunned, Aatrox ignites him. Aatrox is tanking the turret, so I'm free to help Aatrox kill the Warwick. I actually get the last hit. Doesn't really matter. Aatrox tanks the turret the last few shots to make sure that we get it with this minion wave. And it's all pretty clean, well played. Now, we're at 4 KP, and I have a half-stack Dark Seal. It's probably time to start thinking about Mage Eyes. Now, depending on how much jungle or how much gold I have, I'll either get my jungle item or Mage Eyes, or if I have both, I would get both. Now, unfortunately, I underestimate their bot lane. I kind of overestimate my team. Aatrox and Lucian were in no position to fight. This isn't their fault, but I saw Leona walking into me. I was going to stun her, and if Aatrox had stayed, I thought we could burst her, but then turns out Kai'Sa was here as well. And of course, as soon as Leona stuns me, which is with this E, then Kai'Sa can ult me, which she does, and then I'm dead. I don't have my ult, I don't have flash, I don't have anything. I'm gone. So that was just me underestimating their bot lane. Actually pulled off a pretty sophisticated flank where Leona came from here at the same time their ADC came from here, and my team couldn't fight, so it's not their fault. But anyways, back to what I was talking about before. It's pretty much time for a Dark Seal. I mean, it's time for a Mage Eyes because I have 4 KP at 10 minutes. I'm doing pretty well. Now, I did just lose 4 stacks, but I was pretty sure at this point that I was going to be able to get them right back. So I get my jungle item, I finish my Mage Eyes, and I buy a ward. Now, waiting on me to respawn. Alright, now top turret is dead. We got first, I think we got first turret bot, or else Trinity got top, but either way it doesn't matter. Before 14 minutes we want to try to pressure this mid turret if possible. However, I know that the enemies are near dragon, So I'm going to come look. Looks like they catch my Aatrox out of place. And they're catching my Blitz out of place. Now, since it's a Cloud Dragon, when they kill this Blitzcrank, they are going to push mid. They don't have any reason to focus that Cloud Dragon that much. It's not a bad thing, but you would rather take the plates early. So because of that, I try to jump on Warwick. He dodges my W, so I'm not going to get an extended fight with him. I try to bully him off of the crab a little bit, if possible. I think me and Lucian actually get the crab. Yeah, I get it with my third and my passive. And then Warwick just kind of overstays. Warwick thought his team was going to come focus the Cloud Dragon, but like I told you guys, they're going to go for the turret after those kills, because turret plates are worth more than Cloud Dragon. So, because of that, Warwick's going to die. His team's going to push the plates mid. I'm going to come try to save this turret. Now, it is 3 people hitting it. When you cast your W, so if you're ever in this situation where you're trying to save a turret from multiple enemies and they have a minion wave, stun the minions. Minions do a lot of damage to turrets, and if you can kill the minions out really quickly, the champions are going to be forced to tank. They're probably going to back off. So because of that, we stun the minions. Also, it happened to be Kaisa was on the minions, so it's going to be a 2-for-1. I am going to hit Kaisa with the stun, but most importantly, I stun the minions. Now, I get CC on Kaisa. Meanwhile, Leona jumps on Lucian. She misses her first stun, but Diana does a ton of damage. So Lucian is going to go down, but they trade heal. No, they don't even trade heals. They use heal and Leona ignite for Lucian not using any sums, and we trade Kaisa. Then I run back through them. Now, they were all on cooldown after they just killed Lucian. I thought I would be safe to get through. I was not, but with Diana ulting into me, either I was going to get the kill under the turret, or it turns out my Aatrox did, which is fine. Getting that assist puts me at 2 Magi stacks. So we're at a net positive from when I bought the Magi's at 1 stack. So we're doing good. We're doing super great so far. Trust me. Anyways, waiting on me to respawn. We're going to go boots next because you need to get your mobility as soon as possible. It is important to be able to get around the map to affect the map. So we're going to go boots of lucidity here. And then, of course, it's going to be Lichbane next. Now, not much is happening. Trinimir's not going to try 2v1. The other enemy's recalled. None of my tanks are around, so it's time to farm. There's no action happening. So I farm the wolves. Turns out they get 2v1'd by Diana, and she trades for the Aatrox, but that didn't have anything to do with me, so it's not important. Actually, yeah, let's watch this, see what happens. They overstayed for Trinimir. Trinimir left. Oh, he was in the shop. That's what happened. Yeah, he's dead. He's already dead. Now, he's trying to get some chip damage back, but with 1 stack of Diana's passive, she can ult twice, and then that plus eating the passive, he's dead. So he knows that. He goes back in to try to fight her a little bit. She comes back and kills him, and then Lucian's going to trade the Diana afterwards. So that's not that bad for our team. It's bad that he might have been baiting, but it looked like he was just in the shop to get hit by that Q. Anyways, they trade 1-for-1. I come mid to push the lane with my Lucian, and then Warwick and Leona show up. Now they're doing the same flank strat they did to me bottom, but this time I'm prepared. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw my W on me and Lucian. The reason that I want to make sure I throw it on Lucian here is, I don't know, if Leona hits her ult on Lucian right here, or if Warwick like flashes over me and ults Lucian or something, I have to make sure that if they get onto Lucian, they're going to be CC'd. So that's why I throw it here. They decide not to go for Lucian, they're going to go for me. I want to keep them in my stun, so instead of running away through here, I'm going to eat some of their CC to walk back into my stun. Warwick knows what's up. He gets out of my stun. Leona does not. So we're going to trade some damage on Leona. She is in her W right now, so she has increased resistances. So I tried to burst her down. She's not going to die. Meanwhile, Lucian and Blitzcrank are hitting the Warwick. I see that the Warwick's low, and his E is up, which is his damage reduction. So I'm going to jump on the Warwick, try to finish him off. He starts his ult. Lucian's going to finish him off for that. And now Diana does not have her W, her damage reduction. So we're going to be able to finish her off afterwards. Now, she tries to kite me around a little bit. She gets her W back up. Doesn't matter, I have 2 stacks of my passive, and then my E's up, so she's 100% dead. Now, we have 7 seconds to try to get any plates before the turret plates go down. They managed to get 1. I come back to support them, because my ult's up, so there's no reason for me to back. They only get 1 plate, but we're going to get some chip damage down on this. Kaisa is obviously not going to try to 1v3. She knows we'd kill her. I cast my W down. It's not a bad idea to cast your W right when your minions are going to die, right? Because as soon as your minions are dead, that's when the enemy is going to try to engage on you. It's kind of the same thing I did here, right? So because of that, it's not a bad idea to just cast your W in case, again, Warwick appears out of nowhere. I don't know, Tryndamere, Leona, you never know. So it's not a bad idea to just cast your W. I could have casted it here. I could have casted it here, or even here, somewhere close to the turret to where if they're going to try to engage on you, nothing's going to happen. So I cast my W. Blitzcrank goes for a hook on Kai'Sa. That would have been sick if he had hit it, but he missed. Not that big a deal. Tryndamere comes up and uses his slow. Because of that eye path towards Tryndamere, it was even hard to see with me pausing it, but I looked at Tryndamere so I didn't get this stupid chicken shout thing. Lucian did. I was actually all on cooldown yet because I just used my W. So I don't have anything to help Lucian yet. Kai'Sa's going to get some chip damage on him. I also don't want to be in the middle of Diana, Tryndamere, and Kai'Sa because I would be instantly dead. Like if I ulted right now, I would die. And normally that wouldn't be that big a deal, but we already talked about I'm the only magic damage on our team, and also I have some stacks. I don't want to lose the stacks just to trade 1 for 1. So, long story short, I'm not going to go in yet. Lucian's going to die. Nobody hits any CC, and we're just going to kind of walk away. It's really his fault for not dodging the Tryndamere shout, but, you know, what can you do? I go to farm my blue, because you don't want to leave your buffs alive ever. For long. You don't want an enemy to come and grab it. You'd rather you have it than the enemy. And also the 10% CDR is nice. When we've talked about, it's really hard for me to get 40% CDR on this build. So I'm already at 30. If I had my Sheen, I'd be at 40. Diana is going to walk into me. Now I don't know why I didn't cast my W down and stun her when she walked into the bush, but I thought she was going to just ward this from afar and walk away or something. I don't know. Anyways, she walks into me. I get 3 hits of my passive on her. I'm going to jump over the wall because the standard procedure is 3 hits of the passive. I jump over. I throw my W down here while Diana runs from me. She's going to get stunned. Turns out she was baiting me to Kai'Sa. I am not going to die. I have too many stacks to die for no reason. So I just ult. As soon as Kai'Sa starts hitting me, I just ult. Now I use my W here in case they were going to try to chase me, which they don't. They're not going to chase me through my 2 teammates, right? So if they're going to chase me, they're going to chase me through here. They don't use it. I see Kai'Sa's low, so I kind of follow her a little bit. Again, Diana gets a Q on me. When I have this Diana stack on me, I do not want to be in the fight. I don't want to get bursted by Diana. So Aatrox goes in. I was waiting on the Diana stack to fade. Aatrox, I think he trades. Yeah, he trades for Kai'Sa, and meanwhile Leona was zoning me, so I'm going to have to get out of that fight. We go ahead and speed up a little bit more. Time to farm, because Aatrox is gone. So much action. Time to farm because Aatrox is gone. But I jump over the wall. This is pretty standard stuff. You can E over this wall right here. You can E over this wall. Same thing over here, of course. You can E here. And make sure that you walk close enough. This wall is kind of deceptive. Even like this part, is not actually wall. So make sure you're clicking as close as you can to this wall. I mess this wall up a lot. But you can jump over here. You can jump over here. And the trickiest one is you can jump over this wall. Now you see this kind of point in the rock. Maybe I'll include a clip of this after this. I'm not sure. But if you stand on this little point right here, and you aim for this spot right here, you can actually E over that. And it's actually a little bit longer than your E range, so it's like one of the hardest ones to do. But you can do that, and it can sometimes save you, and it can surprise game. But anyways, I E over this wall to farm my birds. It's pretty standard stuff. Tryndamere comes out of nowhere and comes and chicken slows me. As soon as I'm chicken slowed, I do not want him to get a couple of crits on me, and then he's gonna, if he gets me low with his sums and his ult up, I know he'll kill me. I'm more worried about me living than me and Tryndamere both dying, so I flash. As soon as he gets the slow on me, I flash. I cast my W to where if he was chasing me, he would get stunned. He walks back into the lane, and then I'm fine. I use my Q to help my team wave clear. Blitzcrank hits a God Hook, and Tryndamere does not use his ult because, I don't know, Ballewga, we're going to finish him off. With Tryndamere gone, we suddenly have an advantage. Ornn casts the Ornn Horn to engage the fight. Warwick's caught out of place. I jump on him. I tried to place my W to where it would stun Warwick if he turned and ulted me, but it turns out somehow he's not in it. He's like right. His feet are literally, his toes are in it, but his hitbox is not. So he doesn't get stunned. But it's okay. I get my shield, and my team finishes him off while he does a little bit of chip damage to me. So it's going to be fun. If that had worked, though, his ult would have got interrupted by my stun, of course. But for some reason, it didn't work. Then we're going to go ahead and push mid. So macro-wise, which this is an Ekko guide. It's not really a macro guide. But you don't want the enemy mid turret to be alive if you can help it. That's why this whole game has been surrounded around us pushing mid and then pushing our mid. As soon as you push this turret down, it changes the enemy from being able to, like say you catch somebody at red, they can either run up or down. if they don't have red, they have to run down. And here they have to run this way. And then that opens up kind of this area of the mini-map. Just about, well, really it's kind of the river because we already own the other half, right? So all this becomes fair game for us because they lost this one turret and it shortens their escape routes, basically. So anyways, you take the turret. We're going to get some damage on the second one. We might actually get it. I don't remember. Orange tries to look for engage. He's not going to get it. We do get the turret. I use my trinket. Always, always, always use your trinket when you're face checking bushes and you haven't seen the enemies around. And if you see an enemy, go ahead and ult if you have to, or just E away or something. Always use your trinket before you face check. So that's what I'm doing here. I don't want to run into Diana or Tryndamere because they will kill me. Aatrox starts in the dragon. I take the plant because I don't like leaving the plant up just in case an enemy laner comes by and takes the plant and then suddenly I miss a smite. Oh no, this jungle sucks. You can't even hit smites on dragon. Taking the plant prevents that. So we get the plant, we get the dragon. We're going back to base. I'm pretty rich at this point. I think I can get most of the components of Lichbane. I don't think I get it outright yet. Yeah, I get Sheen and Blasting Wand. When you have... So you always get Sheen first, because it gives you 10% CDR, which is really important on Ekko, and the Spell Blade you make a lot of usage out of with your E and just all your kit. So always Sheen first. Then, if you happen to be in base with 850 gold, before you buy Blasting Wand or Aether Wisp, you always buy Blasting Wand, because you don't know if you're going to be back in the base with less than 850 gold, and if you already bought the Aether Wisp and you have less than 850 gold, you're not getting any more stats. But if you buy Blasting Wand first, and then you go back to base and you have like 600 gold, you can also buy the Tome that goes into Aether Wisp. Okay. Always this order, basically. Oh yeah. Okay, so here's that general tip that we talked about. I need to stop speeding it up. Every time I speed it up, I have to rewind it. Right now, I'm looking for a vision on the Rift Herald. It's before 20 minutes, so we're going to try to secure this Rift Herald. I'm going to probably place a pink ward in this bush, is what I'm going to do. But as soon as I... This was her pink ward. She knew it wasn't warded. I was coming to place my pink ward, but as soon as I walk into the bush, she Q ults me. And this is what I was talking about, how I don't want to mess with Diana. Look, I'm already at 200 life. I'm going to ult here. She also hits her E, which almost kills me. I'm going to press R here immediately. I mean, this whole thing, I just slowed it down to half speed. This whole interaction, let's watch it again, how quickly it happens. That's why you got to be paying attention. Got to be looking at yourself. Look, 1 Mississippi, done. It went from 1703 to 1704, and then I pressed R, and now we're at 1705 where I ulted. In 1 second, I almost died. Make sure you're hitting those ults early. That's all I can say. Alright, so I have to leave, obviously, because I'm low life and I don't have my ult. So because of that, I can't help my Blitzcrank here. Unfortunately, either Warwick or Leona could just CC me under the turret and I would die. So I'm trying to ask my Ornn to move, to come down to the lane, because I can't do anything without Ornn. But he's watching my red this time. He's not going to let Tryndamere take it this time. What a good guy. Ornn finally moves his large posterior to come down. The red's about to respawn. That's also why Ornn was up here, because the red is about to spawn. I'm going to go ahead and get it when it spawns because I want to Ravenous heal off of it, which is what I'm doing, and also red buff just grants you health regen. So because of that, when I have red, I'm going to be near full life, which is where I am now. And now Lucian goes farm top. Diana was up here. I don't know if you guys saw on the minimap. I'm just kind of bodyguarding for Lucian. I don't want Diana to kill him like she almost killed me just now. And then my team's going to focus Rift Herald because Diana's clearly is backed because she's not going for the Lucian, so they don't have their main threat around. Ornn has TP, so we're pretty much clear to do this. We do the Rift. Aatrox grabs it. Tryndamere was looking for a flank, so I cast my W to cut off Tryndamere. Meanwhile, Leona engages on my Blitzcrank. I don't care if Blitzcrank dies. He's my tank support. It's fine if he dies. He's going to go down. My W is on cooldown because I used it to try to catch the Tryndamere, and with my W on cooldown, it's kind of hard for me to run straight through Diana and Kai'Sa and Tryndamere and Warwick to help Lucian with the Leona. So because of that, I'm kind of playing in the back. Also, I'm sorry, Aatrox, I couldn't help you either. Now, when the enemy team kind of splits up, this pausing is way too choppy, isn't it? Let's speed it up, and then we're just going to slow it down to half speed, and I'm going to tug as fast as I can. Alright, so I cast W on Tryndamere. Tryndamere, oh god! Tryndamere dodges the W. Leona engages. Tryndamere gets a slow on everyone, including me, so I'm slowed, and I don't have W. So because of that, I do not want to run into Tryndamere and Kai'Sa. I'm waiting on cooldowns right now. None of my spells are up other than my ult. When
Blitzcrank dies and Leona chases Lucian. Aatrox starts to cause havoc in the backline. He actually pulls the enemies towards this bush, just being big old scary Aatrox, and because of that, Lucian's probably going to be fine from Leona. I don't have to worry about him anymore, and these three all commit to Aatrox. So because of that, I can commit to Kai'Sa. Now I miss my Q because I am clearly boosted. The Kai'Sa uses her summoner heal. I have 2 stacks of my passive on her. I do not want to die to this Diana. We just saw what happened 10 seconds ago. Because of that, whenever Diana casts her ult on me, I press my ult because I can just reset and I can come back again, just like the Ekko music video. Then, meanwhile, Aatrox has died, Leona has died to Lucian, and now it's a 4v3, but our team is fed, so we're not that bad. Also, all the enemy teams are low. I know that the enemy team is hiding in this bush, so I cast my W. Diana sees me again. She's going to cast her Q at me. I dodge it. Tryndamere jumps on my Lucian. Unfortunately, Tryndamere had ult, so I think Lucian's going to die. Meanwhile, I'm looking at these two trying to help Ornn, but I can't do it because if Diana spellcast on me, I'm dead. I don't have my ult this time. So because of that, I'm going to look at the Tryndamere. He did just ult, so he should be a free kill. And I think Ornn's going to die here to somebody. Tryndamere gets away. And then Ornn is going to die because Tryndamere went for the plate. Now here, I kind of messed up. I think I was looking at trying to save Ornn or trying to trade Warwick, or I know Kai'Sa's around. Right here, I should have ran. I should have ran up away from the Diana. But what you're going to see me do is kite back, kind of looking for Warwick. At this point, I'm pretty much dead. I cast my W. The Diana's too smart. She's not going to run through my W. I use my Q on her as much as I can. Again, we know this Diana's gonna beat me in a fight. I use my trinket to see if they have any wards, because depending on if they have vision or not, it's gonna alter your playstyle. They don't have vision. So I know that when the Diana casts the Q, they don't have vision. I can try to jump onto the Kai'Sa. Now, Kai'Sa knew that I knew that, so she's going to use her speed boost, but I have Chilling Smite, so I steal her movement speed. So therefore, when she casts her W, I'm close enough to hit her with my E damage, plus the... So E counts as 2 sources of damage. It's your E, the spell, and you also auto-attack during your E. So that's 1, 2, and then my Q is 3. That plus Electrocute's going to finish off the Kai'Sa, and I managed to trade right before I go down. Okay. This commentary's taking a long time. I'm being too in depth, I think. We're going to speed it up just a little bit. Alright. I don't have my Aether Wisp yet. I think I was like 1. Every time I speed it up. I think I was like 100 gold off my Aether Wisp here. So I go to try to get my blue to finish my Lich Bane, not Aether Wisp. But unfortunately, Tryndamere again stealing my buffs. He's at my blue. I catch him with a stun at my wolves, so because of that, I'm going to be able to do his whole health bar while he's stunned, and he's going to have to ult. Now, I ulted, he ulted. However, I'm still 100% life, and Tryndamere doesn't have any life. So because of that, I'm going to chase him. I'm also pissed that he took my blue, so I'm going to chase him. I use my trinket to see if I run into Leona or something, and then somehow I run into Tryndamere, because he had vision here, so he knows I walked into their jungle. I don't know how I managed to catch him here, but I do. And I'm going to get my blue buff back. I go and use flash to secure that. Meanwhile, Ornn starts to CC the Kai'Sa because she was trying to wave clear versus the Ornn. Once I come in, we have kill pressure. I should have stood on that stun. I am misplaying here. But we get the Kai'Sa, and then finally Leona and Diana have come down. They saw me kill Tryndamere. They saw me kill Kai'Sa. They're pissed. And Diana, if I don't have my ult, Diana's going to one-shot me. So she does. But I'm at a net positive 4 instead of the 1 that I was when I bought this, so we're doing good. No, really and truly, we left the base there to try to finish off my Lich Bane, and unfortunately we ran into some trouble with Tryndamere taking my blue, but once I kill him and Kai'Sa, I definitely have enough for my Lich Bane. I'm going to go ahead and purchase that. And now I'm finally strong. Now, Ekko is definitely a mid to late game champion. You guys know this. Everyone knows this. Once you get your Lich Bane and your jungle item, and your boots, you're strong. Now, I also bought a Mage Eyes earlier because I was hoping I could get a bunch of stacks. Turns out it didn't work out that way, but once I have these 3 items, I'm strong. I'm probably not going to die too many more times this game. Meanwhile, my team gets into a fight of dragon. They're going to finish off the Diana. She tried to steal it. They're going to finish off the dragon. I come to flank. The enemy team is focusing down Aatrox. This Aatrox, I actually really like the way this Aatrox played. So a lot of mid laners will try to play really safe, save their KDA and everything. This guy got down and dirty and made sure the kills happened. Anyways, while he's getting it down and dirty, they're going to chase him down. Lucian tries to come for the flank while they're finishing off Aatrox. Leona fully CCs Lucian with Ignite, so he's going to die to the Kai'Sa. He does manage to get a lot of chip damage off in the meantime. I throw down my stun on both the enemy laners. However, Since Lucian dies right before my stun hits, and I one-shot Kai'Sa, I don't stun Leona. But so Lucian dies. I throw my stun down to try and save him. Somehow Leona gets just out of it. She flashes. We have vision here. So either Leona is going to show here any second, or she's running this way. Or I guess she could have came right back around, but I didn't think she was that smart. Also, the quickest way for me to get from this side of the wall over the wall while my E's on cooldown and my flash is on cooldown is my ult. So because I hit ult, and it turns out since she didn't show here, she was on my ult and she dies. Then I know that I can beat Warwick in this fight. So I jump over the wall to start fighting Warwick. However, Warwick uses his E, and then he actually had flash up. I tried to avoid his E. That's how you see me running up, so I don't get feared by him. However, he flashes to make sure the E hits, and then he has his Tiamat active, plus just his press the attack damage. I end up taking a lot of damage, so because of that, I need to run away from him. However, I have 40% CDR, so I'm able to kite him back and forth with my Q. He thinks that I'm going to die to the minions, but I know better than that. I'm just going to use another Q, use my shield, get healed up with my Ravenous Hunter and my shield, and then I'm going to leave. Because at this point, Warwick's one-shot of me. I'm one-shot of Warwick. If I run into him in a bush, he's going to kill me. So that's why, again, why I use my trinket to face check the bushes, quote, face check. That way, if I saw him first, I would have been able to cast a spell and kill him. And I'm just going to leave, because it's definitely not worth me losing 10 stacks to maybe trade for Warwick. So, I'm going to speed it up. I don't think I'm going to have to rewind it yet this time. Tryndamere's invaded my red, of course, because he had nothing better to do all game. They catch the Tryndamere, the Blitzcrank goes down, and then ensuring team fight. Warwick's going to go down to our team. Warwick for Blitzcrank's definitely worth. Leona comes to engage. I'm waiting on cooldowns. When Aatrox goes in, I'm going to follow suit, because the Kai'Sa's pretty weak at this point. She's 3 and 8. She's really not that big of a threat. So me and the Aatrox jump on the Kai'Sa. She actually flashes, but she didn't know the auto attack had started, so she's going to die anyways. And then Leona's on my ult right here. I could ult. I do ult because she was on it. I was worried about Diana. That's why the ult was a little hesitated. But when Diana used her Q and then walked away, I knew I was safe to ult. So I press ult. Leona dies. And then we're going to chase Diana a little bit. But I have to be really careful. That's why you see me stutter stepping. This Diana, again, we've talked about this plenty. She can one-shot me. So because of that, I have to be very careful when I'm trying to CC Diana. That's why I'm running back and forth. I thought our team should take the mid inhib. Thought that was a better call with 4 dead or 3 dead. But my team wanted to do Baron, which is fine. Just make sure that you try to be on the same page as your team. So if they want to do Baron, we'll do Baron. I come up, I help them do the Baron. I think it's pretty free. I don't think anybody can test it. Lucian gets last hit because I can't smite, but that's okay. And then it's back to farming. So at this point, we are waiting on... Or we're going to Liandry's, apparently. I probably should have gone Morellonomicon, considering they have healing. Well, he actually didn't buy any lifesteal, but Warwick heals plenty. And then Kai'Sa doesn't have any lifesteal. Maybe that's why I didn't go Morellonomicon. Anyways, the health and AP of Liandry's is what I need this game. I either need that or Banshees because of this Diana that keeps one-shotting me. So because of that, we're going to build one of the healthier AP items instead of going straight into Death Cap. I come bot to match Tryndamere. We had vision of him. I didn't want him to take our base while our team was fighting mid. Turns out my team crushed the team fight mid. Who knew with Baron you're going to win the team fight. So I'm watching Tryndamere. I thought he might be over this wall, so that's why I can't just jump straight over the wall after him. Again, it's the same scenario as Diana. This guy can eat me alive. That's why as soon as he jumps on me, I just E away. I don't worry about damaging him. But I want to keep vision on him. So you're going to see me kind of tailing him. When I see him over this wall, I think I do the blue first. Yeah, I do the blue first to heal a little bit, but I know where he is. I ping him for my team. Those are my pings. Meanwhile, the team's actually ending the game. But now that I know Tryndamere is at least over this wall, I'm going to chase him into the base. Meanwhile, my team gets some kills on the Kai'Sa. Tryndamere finally makes it back to the base. Kai'Sa leaves the game. Lucian gets a good flash to dodge Diana's main source of damage. She flashes anyways, hits him in. I throw down W to try to stun the Diana. I would have stunned the Diana, but then she uses her Zhonya. So she only has a broken stopwatch. Lucian runs away because he knows that I'm going to finish off the Diana with her broken stopwatch. I finish her off. Then I jump on Tryndamere. I wasn't sure if Tryndamere had his ult or not. Turns out he did. So because of that, I don't want to be in melee range of him. Because of that, Tryndamere also does want to be in melee range of me. So he chases after me. I use my ult to make sure that I'm full life. It didn't matter about the damage on him, of course, because he's only at 1 life because he's in his ultimate. But then he's going to die to the Ornn as soon as he comes out of his ultimate. And then now, all of a sudden, all 5 are dead. And we're in their base. So we won the game. That's it. That's the end of the replay. Alright, I know that replay was messy. I'm sorry. It's been a while. It's been a while, and I know I paused and rewinded a lot, but I hope I got the information across to you guys. The main thing I wanted to highlight, the reason I chose this gameplay over other gameplays is because a lot of this game, even though I had a decent early game and I did manage to kill the Warwick at the crab early, most of this game was my team doing well and me playing really safe. That's a playstyle that a lot of people don't know how to do. A lot of people can pop off and carry when they're really far ahead, and of course a lot of people know how to lose, but a lot of people lose these kind of games as well, where I was the only magic damage on our team and their team had some serious insta burst threats. So that's why you kept seeing me ult early. It kept my stacks up, it kept me safe, it kept me from getting shut down by the enemy team, and then by the end of the game I finished 12, 4, and 10, only down 3 kills from my Lucian, because Ekko is a mid to late game power spike. So even though I did okay early, we got some kills early, I had some successful ganks early, the main focus of this game was staying safe enough to scale well, and then you can pop off in the late game. So that's where we are here. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any more questions, please let me know. Please continue the discussion in the comments. I'd be happy to answer any questions you guys have. If you guys want to argue that Protobelt's the best item on Ekko, I will argue you to death because it sucks on Ekko Jungle. Also, if you guys want that tank commentary, or rather bruiser, just let me know and I can do that, no problem. I usually use this build, that's why I did it in my guide. I know a little bit more about this build, but I have had success with Arc Seconds build. It's not a bad build. I think Assassin's better because I tend to find more success with Assassin. However, Arc Second is Grandmaster and I'm Diamond 4 as of now, so who's really right? Nobody knows. Anyways, thank you all for watching and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.